Welcome to Lesson 5 of Unit 10, Wind and Water Change the Earth. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how is the Earth changed by wind and water? They participate in 4 lab stations to observe models of what happens when land and water interact. They figure out that changes to Earth's surface can be fast or slow, that there are patterns in the ways water affects land, and that interactions between Earth, wind, and water can affect the lives of humans. In the Engage, use the question prompts shown here on the slide to remind students of what they learned in previous lessons about Earth materials, bodies of water, and landforms. Then direct students to Student Journal page 10, How does water affect land? And ask them to draw a picture of one way water affects land. After all students have drawn their picture, conduct a gallery walk with the class and engage in discussion about the land-water interactions examples students drew. In the Explore portion of the lesson, students will participate in 4 labs modeling interactions between land and water. At each station, groups of students will manipulate materials, make observations, and answer questions about what they observed on Student Journal pages 11 through 13. For each of these stations in the Explore, students should analyze their observational data and use it as evidence to explain how water affected land. A tutorial of each of these labs is available on our website and linked in the Lesson 5 curriculum. In the Explain, the students will watch a video clip of the Grand Canyon and try to make connections between the land and water stations and how the Grand Canyon formed. Then show students this video on how the Grand Canyon formed, discussing if the formation of the canyon was a fast change to Earth's surface or a slow change. After that, read aloud the book, Flood, comparing and contrasting what happened in the book to how the Colorado River carved out the Grand Canyon. A detailed read-aloud guide for the book Flood is on teacher pages 16 to 17. Guide students to make connections between all the activities they have participated in during this lesson. Finally, return to the book Dirt, reading it or rereading it to make connections between what is read and the activities students have done during this lesson. A read-aloud guide for the book Dirt is on teacher page 18. In the Elaborate, ask students to explain how the surface of the Earth changes and how long it takes for these changes to occur. Then direct students to Student Journal page 14 to continue thinking about time scale and Earth changes. On this page, students place time words in order from the smallest amount of time to the largest. Guidance for this page is on teacher page 19. Use the question prompts here on this slide to discuss what is fast and what is slow. Share teacher page 20 with students as part of this conversation as well. Then, distribute the 6 copies of The Sun, Wind, and Rain included in your mySci kit. Pass them out to groups of students to follow along as you read it aloud. A detailed read-aloud guide is on teacher page 21. Use the question prompts shown here on the slide to discuss fast and slow changes to the mountain. Then direct students to Student Journal page 15, Fast and Slow Changes, Details and Evidence. Direct each group to use the book to compare and contrast Earth Mountain and Elizabeth's Mountain. A key is provided on teacher page 22. In the Evaluate, ask students to return to Student Journal page 10 where they drew an example of how water affects land. Use the question prompts shown here to discuss fast and slow changes to Earth, with students guiding them to reevaluate their previous ideas. At the bottom of Student Journal page 10, students draw a new picture of how water affects land. End this lesson by asking students to consider the image of the rock arch on the beach. What have we figured out in this lesson that helps us understand this? What new questions do you have about how this landform was created? By the end of this lesson, students will compare fast and slow changes to Earth caused by water.